You see those prizes, Ben?
Yeah, and Tera box here on the left-hand side. And then I should say the Lopunny Dusknoir, a deck that's coming straight out of Phantasmal Flames. The Mega Lopunny EX. And now both of our players look at the start of this game. And there's the fist bump getting into our round 7 of the Stuttgart Regional Championships. Yeah, so it looks like Stefan's going to be kicking us off. It looked like that was the draw of a turn. I'm just going to get a confirmation as well. But, yep, there it is. There's the Duskull just hitting the bench right now. You've already mentioned a bit about this deck, Ben. Yeah, there's actually is that the energy that you've been searching for the past couple of days? Yeah, I know, yeah. If anybody's got one, let me know. Enriching energy, the A spec of choice on this deck, able to draw 4 cards once attached. And I should mention already, what a great starter from Stefan. The Klefki with the mischievous lock ability is going to turn off that oh so important fan Rotom for Giannis. That's going to be offline, and that's going to be met with a bit of dismay, I would imagine, for Giannis.
Yeah, it's a fantastic starter, of course, because that's one of the key elements of
main engine,
the deck that Giannis is piloting as well. This Wellspring Ogerpon, sort of Ogerpon sort of toolbox deck, particularly being piloted when utilizing things like the Fan Rotom. So it needs to find a way to maybe, if there's even a way to do so, maneuver that Klefki out of the active. But typically, you'd want to be going into that Fan Rotom. Typically, you want to be using Fan Call, getting free Pokemon with 100 HP or less, colorless Pokemon, I say, which allows you to burst into those Hoot-Hoots and the Noctowls before finding those key resources to actually start to maybe utilize some of your different attackers, like that Wellspring Ogerpon EX, which has that Torrential Pump, allowing you to potentially snipe down some smaller HP Pokemon. The other aspect of this Klefki in the active, with that mischievous lock as well, you are also stopping that active Pokemon lair, that Latias EX from maneuvering.
Yeah, that Latias EX is going to be staying in the active for quite a while. But yeah, like we've already mentioned, that Fan Rotom, so crucial for an engine in this Tera box to find those crucial Hoot-Hoots for a setup. And it's all about how Giannis gets rid of this threat. He, like you said, is able to use something like a boss's orders to get this Klefki out the active, but I didn't think I saw that in hand at all. Is eyeing up that Fan Rotom, hopefully, oh no, going for that Terapagos EX, maybe starting to get some energy attached to it to start swinging, start attacking. But for Stefan, I think this is the prime spot to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, outside of maybe finding one of those Beneries, I mean, we haven't really spoken about the deck too much yet because we didn't even get a chance for Stefan to actually search through the deck. We get an attachment on the Terapagos EX here now, and now it's back over to Stefan. Just to talk about this deck a little bit, Ben, it's one of the newer archetypes that has come out because of Phantasmal Flames. It's the combination of that Mega Lopunny EX that has that fantastic attack. Gale Thrust, if it maneuvers from the bench to the active spot, deals a lot of damage. Not necessarily always able to knock out big Pokemon, but why it's able to is because you can combine it with things like those Curse Blasts from the Dusclops and the Dusknoirs. And it really is one of those newer sort of decks that some people weren't really too sure whether they could find the right way of playing it or piloting it, but Stefan has. He's the one who is 6-0 at this tournament so far.
I think for Mega Lopunny, it's a question of what was his perfect partner, much like a lot of the additions of this Phantasmal Flame set, but it seems to have found a home in this deck, and obviously it's a record of 6-0. You can say, you know, well, this is a deck that I maybe should keep my eye on. But with that Gale Thrust, of course, you will have to put it into the active to unlock that extra damage. But what a perfect partner it is in Dusknoir. Obviously, that Curse Blast will knock it out. And of course, if you do promote it as an active, you can put that Gale Thrust right back into the active. And not only that, but it does play an abundance of switch cards, Switch itself, but also a Jet Energy as well to find some extra ways of unlocking that Gale Thrust. So yeah, it's a popular archetype, I would say, at the moment, especially with that Mega Lopunny.
Yeah, it's definitely one to keep an eye out for, especially hopefully we get a bit of a true demonstration, but it's looking pretty good so far, especially because that Klefki in that active spot does find one of the Beneries at the moment from that Lily's Determination. Of course, getting to draw 8 cards into your hand because you haven't yet taken a prize so long as you have 6 prize cards remaining. We have Nestball being played here. I can only imagine we'd maybe trying to eye up a second Benery just to kind of get those multiple attackers going. You can start to try and utilize your Dusclopses and your Dusknoirs at some stage. But yeah, there you go. There's a second Benery just to kind of get, you know, your attackers live and ready as well. Playing a 3-2 line does place a couple of other sort of tech inclusions as well. One of those cute inclusions is something like the Hops Cramorant has been tried out here. But also, for a bit of a draw engine, it does also have access to Mega Kangaskhan EX, which we've already seen popularized with Mega Absol.
And with so many switching options, that Mega Kangaskhan, you know, it is a bit of a chunky option, but at least with many other switching options you can, you know, kind of do some funky plays with the Duskmar and the Jet Energies and the switches. And here we see a pass over to Giannis. Not much in hand here.
Well, it wasn't a pass. It was a joust. We'll joust.
Okay,
we might as well.
Sorry.
Might as well for the moment.
Yeah, I was disrespecting the joust there. Earthen Vessel coming down. He really needs to start thinning out this deck. Not much in hand either for Giannis. So yeah, not a great start from him. Isn't even able to retreat into that Terrapagos EX to start swinging on that Klefki. And for Stefan, it's just, can I keep this Klefki in the active? Can I disrupt my opponent as much as possible whilst I get my Duskmars, whilst I get my Lopunny set up?
Yeah, I mean, unless you actually start attaching energies to the Latias EX or use boss's orders or find a way to, I don't know, use a Professor Churro scenario to maneuver that active Latias, it's actually quite a big retreat cost for itself, despite having that Skyline. It does require 2 energies to hard retreat out of the active spot. And that's the troubling bit. I
will say there is a world where Stefan can win this turn as it passes over to Stefan. If he's able to evolve both of these Pokemon into Duskmar, he's able to take a knockout on a Terrapagos EX or even the Latias, and then Gale Thrust for knockout on this remaining Pokemon to take the game. So there is a world where Stefan can find game this turn. So let's see if he can do it. Evolving into the Mega Lopunny is the step 1 here. Does, I think, have an evolution here in hand. I don't know whether it was the Duskmar. Does have INO as well. So I'm wondering if he can find it now. Oh, no, sorry, it was a Dusclops. That's unfortunate, at least, but at least he does have Klefki in the active still.
I think you're okay at the moment. You've evolved the Dusclops up. You've got a bit of time to work with because you've seen that Giannis is not working with too much. There comes the Jet Energy to move the Mega Lopunny EX to the active spot. Gale Thrust currently live, dealing that 60 damage plus an additional 170. Will actually take a big knockout on this Latias. There it is. First 2 prizes taken for Swiss round 7 here, the Stuttgart Regional Championships. Oh, and it's just a pickup. It's a concede by Giannis for game 1, and that'll be Stefan and his Klefki, in reality, the MVP that takes him 1 game up in this Swiss round 7.
Yeah, I don't think he could have done anything there, Giannis, with such a dominating board state from Stefan. We're staring down 2 Dusclops ready to be evolved into Duskmar next turn, and with no other Pokemon either, is going to just be guessing, you know, this is going to be knocked out next turn. I don't have any other options. Let's scoop it up to a game 2. But what a game it was from Stefan. Fortunate enough to, of course, start that Klefki, that Mischievous Lock, turning off Giannis's Fan Rotom to get set up nicely. And for Stefan, you know, it was just a case of using the Lopunny at the right time, and knowing that Giannis wasn't able to play a supporter last turn, was guessing, you know, your hand's pretty dead. I'm just gonna take advantage while I can.
Yeah, absolutely. That active Klefki really kind of stifled the whole setup for Giannis, because he did have the Ultra Ball. He typically would have been able to get something like a Fan Rotom live and going, but just because of that Klefki and Mischievous Lock, he had to Ultra Ball for a Terrapagos EX, just thinking maybe I can, you know, burst my way out of this and just get an attacker going. As we do see our players now putting their prizes down. Just get a glimpse, Sparking Crystal and double energy switch on Giannis's side. Nothing too crazy for Stefan, but there's the fist bump. Here's game 2 of our Swiss round 7.
Yeah, not fantastic prizes from Giannis, but at least they're a little bit manageable here. Nothing that'll turn off any sort of engines to get up and running or start attacking, at least. And then from Stefan, starting that Mega Kangaskhan will be an optimal engine to start drawing some cards earlier on to get set up. And here we see Ultra Ball playing down from Giannis, eyeing up, you'd imagine, that Fan Rotom that was unable to be played last turn. Looking at some of the crucial pieces in the deck. It's such an important aspect to this deck to prize check effectively, just because of the amount of Pokemon you play, the amount of supporters you play. There are a lot of one-offs in this deck, right? This is the way the deck is built. This is the way that Tera box deals with a lot of threats. It plays a lot of options, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's going to be a bit surprised because he won't be able to kind of utilize things like that energy switch, not yet anyway,
Yes.
and the sparking crystal. So does have to almost prioritize maybe getting an energy attachment to his attacker this turn, because typically the majority of his attackers will need to be utilizing sort of multiple attachments and maybe a Crispin on the next turn. Here comes the Fan Rotom. Fan Cool utilized. He's already kind of earmarked some of those cards to the active spot. Ditto being eyed up as well, because that could just go straight into the active. It's not going to attack with Splup, but it will use transformative starts, I should say, and then actually go into another one of those key pieces that are so useful, and you just get Ditto out of the deck. It's just such a useful Pokemon.
It's such a fantastic card because it is searchable via Fan Rotom's Fan Call, but, you know, like I just said, you play so many options against a lot of decks in the format. So at least with Transformative Start, you're able to switch into anything that you require per that matchup. You know, do I switch into a Wellspring? Do I switch into the Terapagos EX? Do I switch into the Pikachu EX? You know, there's a lot of different options that you have available to you. And that is why Ditto is so important. And you see the retreat into that Transformative Start. What does he find here off this Transformative Start? It is going to be the Wellspring Ogerpon. Just understanding, he's already recognized, you know, from Stefan's from the last game, Stefan does play a lot of smaller HP Pokemon. With Wellspring Ogerpon, at least he can start taking some surprise knockouts with the Torrential Plump.
He actually has gone down the Pikachu route, you know, because he knows that Mega Kangaskhan does have that 300 HP. The type of deck that Stefan's playing probably doesn't have anything like the kind of HP buffing types of cards that we've seen with Mega Absol and Mega Kangaskhan. You could have gone down the route potentially of the Wellspring Ogerpon EX, but Sobbed isn't that useful when you know your opponent is playing Jet Energies, you know your opponent is playing Switches. There's a big energy attachment to the Pikachu and a pass over. It's on Stefan to have his first turn of this game 2 here, and let's just see how this is going to pan out.
It really surprised me he's going with the Pikachu because it is so susceptible to damage counters, and Stefan already playing that Duskmar. It is an easy 2 prize card Pokemon to take out with 200 HP. I think the advantage of the Pikachu is that Resolute Heart ability, and it's so easy to get around with Stefan's deck. So I'm eager to see how Yanis utilizes this Pikachu. But, you know, it is an easy 3 prize cards against the Kangaskhan, of course. So Crispin next turn will put you 3 prize cards ahead. But like I said, it's whether you can weather the storm afterwards, which is my biggest worry.
I think it's got to be an easy target. If you've seen that Mega Kangaskhan be down, if he doesn't maneuver it into or back onto the bench with another sort of other way of switching, utilizing a Latias or utilizing something else to maybe put like a Klefki active, despite Klefki kind of losing its sort of core true ability in this matchup at this point, because, you know, your opponent's already got the Fan Call off. As we do see some further Nestballs and Buddy Poffins being utilized now, we're likely to see sort of a board state of double Duskull. There you go, double Duskull and double Baneri. Get those attackers ready to go. Third Nestball, or sort of third Pokemon Ball Search is now being utilized. Does eye up that Klefki for the moment, just to slow the game down, or try to slow down the game, or maybe use it a bit of a sort of semi-sacrificial lamb a little bit, I suppose, but trying to slow down the game a little bit more after utilizing that fantastic Kangaskhan ability, Run Errand, to draw further 2 as well, but targets the Latias EX instead. Yeah,
it's how you get this Kangaskhan out the active if you do see this Pikachu as a threat next turn. And I know what you were thinking. Torrential Pump next turn does 100 damage. How are you going to gust out another little Pokemon out for these 2 prizes? But Yanis does play, and I should say he does play the Iron Bundle. Yeah, so the Iron Bundle, an easy way to get around these larger HP Pokemon to start taking prizes with the Torrential Pump. But for Stefan, fortunately enough, going for, I'd say this is the best case scenario from Stefan. I don't think he would have wanted to see a Wellspring, because it does make for some awkward situations, especially that, you know, you doubt so much on these evolution lines.
Now, I think another way that Yanis has to play this is, and the reason why he may have gone Pikachu, is he knows the energy switch is not there. He knows those sparkling crystals not there. So the only way to power up a Wellspring Pokemon is via Crispin. There's a Run Errand to draw 2 further cards there from Stefan now after a Professor's Research. So it does have 9 cards in hand to work with at the moment. So there's plenty of cards. There's the Jamming Tower, maybe just kind of slow down and stop a potential Sparking Crystal. He doesn't know his prize, right? Here goes the Kangaskhan to the bench, Baneri to the active spot. does have a runaround attack, but I don't think it's ever going to be useful.
Run around, switching this Pokemon with one of your bench Pokemon. I think that's going to be used from Stefan. Doesn't really do much for you. He promoted this Baneri as a more of a sacrificial, I was going to say sacrificial lamb, but it's actually a sacrificial bunny in the circumstance, isn't it? It's whether Giannis can't Crispin and he can't boss in the same turn, so isn't going to be able to take out that Kangaskhan this turn, but at least with Crispin here is able to start putting accelerating energy onto that Pikachu EX, ready to use that Topaz Bolt on the Mega Kangaskhan. But like I said, it's easy to play around, right? I mean, if Stefan this turn is able to find something to place damage counters, like a Dusclops, maybe perhaps, and is able to find that Mega Lopunny, that Pikachu is going to be easy dinner, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was just kind of the unfortunate scenario for Giannis, right? Just because he couldn't maybe get both of a Wellspring Lopunny EX and a Pikachu EX as attacking options. So depending on how Stefan played out his turn, it just means he has to play this Crispin now and kind of just decide how we want to sort of utilize this Pikachu in the active spot, as we do get the Fan Rotom being brought to the active spot now. This is an easy way to swing away as low 70 HP Pokemon. We're utilizing that Assault Landing attack from Fan Rotom, taking that first prize, now kind of asking those questions of Stefan. You know, he sent up that just Baneri. We don't have the Wellspring Ogerpon EX, and we're taking our first prize of the game.
Yeah, I really do love the Fan Rotom attack. Assault Landing is such a surprising attacker. Sometimes you kind of taking a step back because everybody focuses on the ability, don't they? They always focus on Fan Core, but Assault Landing is a really efficient attacker, and especially in this circumstance where you're promoting a one-prize Pokemon. You're getting ahead of the prize race, and you're keeping your biggest attacker on the board on safe on the bench, right?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things now, though, Stefan, because he is piloting a deck that has those Curse Blasts, does have opportunities to take multiple prize turns or maybe kind of manipulate the board state where you're just taking out things like those Hoo-Hoos where possible, whilst, you know, despite Giannis kind of representing just a single prizer in the active spot, Stefan has certain plays. We're going down the Cypher Maniac's code breaking for this turn, able to select or tutor, that's what a lot of people like to say, put 2 cards to the top of your deck. Because you have the Mega Kangaskhan, it means you're basically putting any 2 cards you would like into your hand once you've used Run Errand. So there we go. There's the 2 cards selected. Look like it's going to be that enriching energy as well. That's the ace spec of choice for this deck. Something I know, Ben, you've kind of championed in this deck a little bit already. Haven't seen you kind of immediately go buy the pieces for it. But it's an energy card that once you attach it to a Pokemon, it provides a color's energy. But the main draw is being able to, once you attach this card from your hand to a Pokemon, you get to draw 4 cards. So right now it's being put as one of the top 2 cards here. I couldn't quite see what the second card was, but we'll get a glimpse. Now, there are many options for Stefan here. Putting the 2 cards onto the top of the deck, goes for the rare candy into the Dusknoir. Now this is evolving into the Mega Lopunny as well. Now there is a world where you're able to use the Curse Blast onto this Pikachu EX, Gust with a counter catcher, promote this Mega Lopunny for an easy knockout on this Pikachu EX, which I would say is the only threat for Stefan on this board right now. There is a world where that can happen. It's whether Stefan goes for that option. There are many options available to him. So does have Night Stretcher in hand. I don't think I saw any sort of counter catcher. Now going for the Curse Blast. What does he go for here? Going for that Pikachu EX. Damage counters now being placed. That Resolute Heart now turned off. I wonder if you ever just wanted to have gone into the Dusclops instead. Maybe right now you've expended a rare candy. That's a good point as well. But it's something to consider. But at the same time, Pikachu now down to 70 HP after that Curse Blast. There's a rare candy for another Dusclops. Well, same one. There you go. Oh, could we go for a double? The Night Stretcher and the rare candy. Another Dusknoir here. Another Curse Blast will take out that Pikachu. Taking out that Pikachu with 2 Dusknoir. It does give Giannis 2 prizes, but Stefan also now in the prize race at this point. Does have counter catcher in hand as well. So could take out the Mew. Could take out the Mew and put himself only 2 prize cards away from game here. But let's just see how we're going to maneuver this turn. We get the Buddy Poffin after the prizes. Did grab one of his 2 counter catchers that were both prized from the prizes as well. So can now utilize the counter catcher onto the Mew if he chooses to do so. Now, often, like you've already said, there's multiple angles you typically can take. You could try and target the Pikachu. You could try and target the engine, which are the Hoo-Hoots, if you wanted to do so as well. Try and limit what access to things that Jonas has access to right now, because right now there's no even a terrestrial Pokemon for Noctowl to work. There's a counter catcher on the Mew.
There's the counter catcher. You can imagine a retreat into the Mega Lopunny, drawing 4 from the enriching energy. Does have Latias on board as well, able to retreat that Kangaskhan. Now going into the Gale Thrust here, an easy 2 prize cards. This is such a confident board state from Stefan, only because as well, being 2 prize cards away, Giannis is on 3 here, right? You have 2 Duskull on the bench here. You know that you can only use 2 Curse Plus in total. Otherwise, you give Giannis the game here. So he's counting on Giannis not being able to take a prize card if he's counting on these 2 Curse Blasts next turn, or maybe it's even an insurance here from Stefan. You know, I need to use a Curse Blast to take this game regardless. I don't maybe need to use 2. Here's the Pikachu EX coming down on the field. Noctowl Jewel Seeker. Crispin is now active.
Yeah, it's taken a few prizes. Has taken a few prizes. Hasn't taken that crystal though. Has missed the sparkling crystal. That's the key thing here. But at the same time, the Mega Lopunny EX is I didn't quite realize just how bulky it is.
Oh yeah, it's massive.
330 HP. I mean, even Pikachu's not taking it out. Not right now.
I really do like the benching of the 2 Duskull as insurance effectively. That Resolute Heart, understanding that this could be a threat to me. This could be coming back soon with a Night Stretch or any sort of recovery. This is the Pokemon to get around. This is my biggest threat. So at least benching 2 Duskull, you're keeping that Curse Blast as an option. And then, of course, a nice little Gale Thrust to take the knockout on this Pikachu. Those were my list 2 prize cards. If not, Stefan able to bench another 2 prizer.
I mean, if there was a world or a way, the typical situation you find yourself is, and one card that Giannis does lay is something like that Briar, but you can't really load up all the energies onto a Pikachu and play with a Crispin and a Briar as well. But that could have been one way that you typically find an out to grab 3 prizes. But here is the Crispin here now. It's on Giannis to see how we're going to navigate this turn, because remember that Pikachu is not able to take down that Mega Lopunny EX. And also at the same time, because you play Crispin, you can't really disrupt your opponent's hand. Not that you typically see too many in the deck either. Let's just double check there.
Going for another Noctowl maybe. Going for a Jewel Seeker.
Energy attachments.
Yeah, so... we'll confirm there.
Yeah, well, I guess if that...
Oh, no, sorry, it was an energy switch. It was Crispin with the energy switch, and then with the counter catcher is able to take the knockout on the Mega Kangaskhan. Wow, what a game there. That took me completely by surprise. It really did. I mean, you know, using those Curse Blasts earlier on would have put Giannis within range of a knockout on the Mega Kangaskhan for game. But yeah, I mean...
What a surprising turn. This was actually incredible. We get a chance to replay and relive it right here, right now. This was game 2 on the screen, as we do get a chance to, with Giannis going first, do get the fan Rotom fan call off, get those important hoot pieces down, get that important Ditto down. We do get the sort of swing away at the Baneri with the fan Rotom. And let's face it, if you can take prizes without actually taking prizes and attacking on your turn, you'll take them, as we do get the counter catcher on this Mew EX, the enriching energy. So many cards in Stefan's hand. We saw this Baneri move into the, not Baneri, I should say, Mega Lopunny EX move into the active spot because of Latias' Skyliner and a Gale Thrust to take him down to 2 prizes remaining. Giannis, though, with 3 prize cards and utilizing both Hoots with the Skyliner there and the counter catcher there onto the Mega Kangaskhan, and that Pikachu EX able to Topaz Bolt through that 300 HP. Doesn't even need to worry about the Mega Lopunny EX, and we'll just take down the other Mega and actually take the final 3 prizes and bring us to 1-1.
No, that's going to be a major win con for Giannis in this matchup. It's an easy 3 prize cards to take with the Topaz Bolt, but also... game from Stefan's unfortunate start. And here we see the prize cards coming down for both players. Nothing too detrimental for either player. That Ditto might come into play for Giannis if he's only able to use Fan Call for those crucial Hutus and Noctowl for this turn, so won't be able to use the transformative start for, I would say, the most optimal beginning to his game. Stefan kicking us off here with an Ultra Ball for this game and started that Mega Kangaskhan once more.
Yep, absolutely. Was trying to hope to draw into one of the important Pokemons he needs from that run errand, so that's why he didn't play one of those Ball Search cards first, which often sometimes people think is sort of more productive to do so, but by leaving more outs in your deck, you can draw into a Pokemon before utilizing a Ball Search and maybe use a Ball Search for other Pokemon. As we do see the Ultra Ball being played, as you've said, Ben, just double checking what is prized. I mean, from what we remembered, I mean, there's that one rare candy. It's nothing too crazy. We can work with this right now, and at the moment, we're probably going to try and go into that Klefki if we can do so with that Klefki immediately chosen,
yeah,
and then we can try and stop that Iron Bundle actually ever maneuvering out the active spot. There comes the Latias EX as well. We'll turn off his own ability as soon as the Klefki goes into the active spot. But, you know, when you have ways to maneuver around because of the jet energies and the switches that you've got in your deck already, I don't think it matters too much.
No, I don't think it matters too much because it just puts Giannis in such a disadvantage with the Mischievous Lock. It is so effective against these Fan Rotom decks, I should say. And here we see the pass from Stefan into Giannis. What can he do at this point? Does he have Boss's Orders in hand? Can he get away from this Mischievous Lock? Can't use Iron Bundle to get it out. And here we see just a Crispin, and the Crispin coming straight down. That's not even a thought to Giannis. Just playing it straight down here. Searching for 2 energy cards here of different types. Is able to attach one immediately. Maybe even to the Latias. Forced to use it as an attacker due to a poor hand. Oh, this is rough for Giannis at this point.
Yeah, certainly not pretty. I mean, when you're having to play a Crispin, your opponent's looking at you, play a Crispin, and all you have as targets for the Crispin is that Iron Bundle in the active spot and the Latias on the bench. And, you know, typically you don't see too many Psychic Energies in the deck, so I wonder if we are going to load up the Latias for a potential Eon Blade at some stage. Which isn't ideal. It's not a pretty situation to be in. We do get the Earthen Vessel now as well to grab the other Psychic Energy from the deck. So there are 2 in the deck here. Has pitched away one of those Grass Energies. But let's just see how we're going to work with this, because right now, things are looking real rough when you don't have access to Fan Rotom and Fan Call.
Now, there is a world where Stefan can win next turn if another Pokemon does to come down for Giannis. I said it last game, I didn't get it, but I'm hoping for it this game at least. A Curse Blast from a Dusknoir will take a knockout on this Iron Bundle, and a Gale Thrust will take a knockout on this Latias. If Giannis isn't able to find another Pokemon, which I don't believe he can. And I didn't see Stefan's hand, but I believe I saw a Dusknoir in there. So
there's a Dusknoir.
Let's see what I can do here. Oh, there's the rare candy.
Wow, rare candy, Dusknoir, and Lily in hand. We can play to a massive turn here. Lily for a draw 8. All he needs is a way to get the Mega Lopunny EX and a Jet Energy. And that will be all she wrote.
Or even a switch if you're able to find the Enriching Energy. You know, there are lots of different ways that Stefan can get this Mega Lopunny into the active. The Curse Blast is already there. The Curse Blast taking the knockout on the Iron Bundle. And then, of course, having to promote that Latias and his only Pokemon on field will leave it susceptible to an easy Gale Thrust for knockout. Let's see if he can get it. 8 cards now from Stefan. What have you got here?
Let's have a little look at this together. 8 big cards. There's an Enriching Energy. I don't know if I saw a switch right now. So right now, we're not able to maneuver the active out of the active spot. That Klefki is a bit stuck there. Does have Nest Ball as well to thin down a bit more, but does mean he's missing a couple of pieces here. If he plays the Enriching Energy, still would need 2 more pieces from that draw 4, which is a way to get that Mega Lopunny EX and a way to switch the active out the active spot. So there's the
4
attachment.
Cards.
Could this be the moment? I mean, at this moment in time, maybe you don't even need to push it. There's a Mega Lopunny, misses the switch.
No switch.
But it's okay. I think in this scenario, Klefki's in the active spot. You're slowing down the game enough. Should still evolve up that Baneri just so it's protected. And now, I think he's probably still just quite happy to just leave Klefki in the active spot.
Yeah, you know, It was the Hollywood turn, wasn't it?
It would have been the dream.
You were able to see 12 cards from the Lily's Determination and the Enriching Energy. Unfortunate not to find that switch. But yeah, Klefki's still in the active. It's still an optimal position to be in. You can understand your opponent's board state. It's not that fantastic. And here we see the pass over to Giannis. What can he get? Oh, it's a Noctowl. This is still rough for Giannis.
That's it. That's all she wrote. Is a pass back over. Attachment to the Klefki just to kind of maneuver it somehow is probably all we need.
Has Iono, has Lily's Determination.
Maybe just goes into the Dusclops as well. I mean, at this point, is it even more optimal to play the Lilies or the Ionos? Because you don't want to shuffle those cards back in.
It's a good point. You know, a lot of these cards are not useful to you right now. So, yeah, a very good point there. Is able to take some more cards from the deck with an Ultra Ball, increasing that hand, getting more of those cards that you don't want to see for next turn. Oh, and does go for the Lily's Determination.
I think just playing the longer game, because if you give an Iono to Giannis and you do happen to miss the card, you are just giving Giannis a chance to get back into the game. This, however, means you're keeping Giannis with the hand that he's currently got, and you're just shuffling and drawing your 8, having already discarded a couple of pieces just to give yourself a better chance. So we just need an energy card of some sort or a switch, and that will be everything. So 8 cards, 8 massive cards here. This could be it for this Swiss round 7 in game 3. What do we see? We can see the Jet Energy. This is it. The Jet Energy for the Mega Lopunny EX. The I should say, Curse Blast of the Iron Bundle. And a massive gale for us to give Stefan from the match here in the Swiss round 7. Congratulations to him. I mean, it's incredible to watch this deck in action, and he's under